Well, hello to all of you from around the world. I want to thank you for joining us for another edition of Soulivity Today. We're broadcasting live from our studio right here in the nation's capital, Washington, D.C. And whether you're at home, driving, or even at work, we're always glad you're here with us. My name is Westley Johnson, and we have such another amazing show for you. So we have a lot to get to, so let's jump right on in with my co-host for today. Joining me is Sheila Applegate, who's an author and conscious life coach. Sheila, how are you, my dear friend?
I'm doing well, Brian. I'm excited to be here today for sure.
Yeah, I'm so glad you're back with us. I know you've been like doing all kinds of amazing things. You guys had your first retreat, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. But I'm so glad you're here.
Me too. I missed you.
Oh, missed you too. Missed you too. Listen, so let's start here, everyone. You know, our love relationships are such an important part of creating our best lives. They provide companionship, love, and security, and emotional and physical support for us. But what do you do when you're going through challenges that are completely unavoidable but solvable? Well, back with us is Melva Johnson, who's a co-founder of the Johnson Relationship Institute for Couples, and she's also the co-author of the book, Mining for Gold in Your Relationship. And she's also the author of 10 Secrets to a Long-Lasting Passionate Marriage. You know, she has more than 4 decades of experience as a psychotherapist, public speaker, co-author, and consultant. And she appeared with her late husband, Jesse, on local and national radio, as well as television shows, and been featured in numerous print media. And the best part, as I always say, of knowing her is that I've had the great pleasure of calling her my mom. Hey, Mom, how you doing?
Good morning. Good morning. Doing well. Doing well. Good to see you.
Secret, everyone. She loves it when I say that part.
I do. I started to say that.
Well, let's get on in because you got a lot to share, and I know Sheila's got a lot to share as well about our topic today, which is where we're continuing our series about overcoming common communication problems that couples have. And today we are talking about when couples are trying to overcome the loss of like romance and affection and intimacy. Such a very, very important thing in our relationships. I'm almost hearing the music, you know, the violins in the background starting to play and all that when we're talking about romance and affection and that kind of thing. But we're talking about when we're feeling that the loss of it. And so, Mom, I guess the first question is always, what does this look like for couples? Can you kind of set the scene for us so that everyone kind of knows what you're talking about?
Yeah, the scene is usually an argument. And I'll take you into the middle of the argument because the argument could be about anything. And so it's because the root cause is at the bottom, they don't even know what it is in the moment. So it could go something like this. So in the middle of this argument, when she's really frustrated, she's saying, and this could be anyone, she could be saying, "You never make me feel special." Because we're talking about romance and intimacy today. And he says, "You're always complaining. You're never satisfied. I do everything that I know to do. And you just don't want to acknowledge and appreciate anything that I'm doing." And then she says, "You know what? I'm not even sure that you love me anymore." And then he
Mm.
says, "You're just trying to control me. You nag, 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 nag." And then she says, I feel like I'm living with a stranger.
Wow.
I'm tired of this. I'm tired of this. Now, what they're thinking, she's thinking, I wish we could fix it, but it's way too late. And he's thinking, I'm tired of the rejection. She's rejecting me over and over and over again.
Mm.
She's feeling lonely. And he doesn't believe that there will ever, ever, ever be a solution. She's considering leaving.
Mm.
He's considering an affair.
Mm. Wow. Wow.
And you know what that leads to sometimes? I know we're going to talk about consequences, but this is part of the scenario. So, I mean, these two people love each other, but they're living in sometimes a hostile environment. And so, since they live together, they have to eat. So, they'll eat their meals separately. One's watching TV, the other's she's at the table. She said, I cooked all this food, I'm eating at the table. So when they talk, so that they don't argue, they talk about the bills that need to be paid, they talk about the children, and beneath the surface, resentment is simmering and simmering and simmering, and then it explodes during the next argument about anything.
Whew. Whew. Sheila,
I'm feeling
yeah.
stressed.
Yeah.
Just listening to it, I got a knot in my stomach. Like,
Yeah, I mean, this is like, again, I know all couples. I've gone through this, Sheila. You've gone through it. You and Dad used to go through it, Mom. Where you get to this point of feeling that loss. I mean, it's kind of like the opposite of the feeling that you had during the romantic stage of the relationship, right? I mean, it's kind of like, well, and you don't know why, right? You don't know why this is happening, and that's got to be just painful. Like Sheila, you were just talking about the knot in your stomach. I know people have probably, when you've counseled people and done things, Sheila, around this, I'm sure that's part of it, right? Where people are talking about their relationships as well.
Yeah, and today, like really experiencing that knot in my stomach, just listening to you, Melva, and that scenario makes me really think about, it is actually a physiological thing that is happening when you reach this point, and there's the fight and the flight, and even the play dead kind of shut down, that your body is responding to before you can even think through what's going on, no matter what the argument is what really, as you were talking about that today, that's what really jumped out at me. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, people are flooded with emotion, and you can't get to reflection and logical thinking when you're flooded.
Right.
That's why people should keep their mouth closed when they're upset. We'll talk about that more later, though.
My guess is too that part of this scene, and again, we talked about some of these things in the last couple of shows together, where we're talking about our relationships, where there's got to be accompanying other feelings along with this, like maybe betrayal, right? Fear, of course, anger, right? Mom, during the scene, do you find that people may confuse what's really like the root cause, which is this loss of affection and love and intimacy, with just, oh well, he just doesn't care, or I mean, and these are natural feelings, but do you find that that's true?
Yes. So the bottom line feeling that I've discovered is pain. And people don't have many people don't have language for their pain. They don't get to the root of what's hurting and the scariest part about what's hurting. You know, often when I will ask men what's going on beneath the surface for them, and you know, I'm a woman, so I'm talking about the hurt and the fear. And sometimes the man will say, "No, I don't feel any of that. I'm just pissed." She just keeps going on and on and on and on. And then eventually I can get him to the place to peel back the layers and describe the pain and even connect it to a deeper pain that they had way before they met. But it takes a minute sometimes for people to get there. And when they know what that is, then we can really have a conversation about turning it around.
Right. Which is the whole point, right? I mean, you're not bringing all this stuff up to just have people either relive something that they've already gone through and maybe continuing to go through. There's a point to all this. We want to make sure that people understand, and we're level setting the context of our conversation today. I have to admit, this one is tough. This one is really tough because I know friends and family who talk about this part of feeling this way and not understanding why. And so you're going to help bring some clarity today, which I'm so grateful for.
Yeah. And you know, the problem, one of the problems is that people don't understand that when they're upset with another person and they're finger pointing, they're attacking each other and what have you, they don't understand that they are not desirable in that moment for anything, for any kind of connection. And beneath the surface, they're just hurting. And when people are hurting, sometimes they become hurtful. And that's what we see on the surface, the attacking, the withdrawal, you know. And if people can just get in touch with that vulnerability, they can begin to get back on the road and get back on track to moving toward a more intimate connection.
Yeah.
They become more desirable too.
Well, again, I'm glad you're here because, you know, I know there's a lot of people out here who are wondering what the heck's going on. I love this person, and there's got to be a better way forward. And so what's the answer? And so we're going to be talking about some of this. So thanks again for both of you being here. Listen, we're going to take a quick break. Let this kind of emotional kind of thing kind of die down. Let all of you take a break for a minute from this, because this is stuff. This is powerful stuff. It really is. And so listen, when we come back, we're going to talk with Melva and Sheila about something that Mom calls predictable results. This is interesting. You don't want to miss this. Stay tuned. Soulivity Today is brought to you by Happy Travelers Tours and Old Vine Wine Tours.
Ready to embark on a wine-filled adventure? Go to oldvinewinetours.com and book your luxury wine tour today and experience the unparalleled beauty and flavors of Sonoma, Napa, and Lake counties. oldvinewinetours.com offers transportation for the most amazing experiences in the Sonoma Valley, Santa Rosa, Healdsburg, and all of Sonoma County, as well as the Napa Valley and Clear Lake wineries of Lake County. From boutique tastings to bridal party transportation, we have you covered. Visit oldvinewinetours.com or call 707-386-9859 for more information. Don't forget to mention promo code Soulivity to get 10% off either a culture or wine tour. Book your wine country adventure. Visit oldvinewinetours.com or call 707-386-9859 today.
Would you like to be one of the first people to experience mental freedom? Mental freedom is a coaching practice with 6 core principles: improving hope, self-efficacy, optimism, resilience, and general well-being. Mental freedom only takes 6 sessions. It is designed to give you the tools you need to help yourself. It can help with any situation: relationship problems, past trauma, career decisions, parenting challenges, addiction, and mental health concerns. Incorporating the mental freedom framework into your life will deliver an approach to master any situation and a pathway toward achieving inner peace. Mental freedom provides the information and tools that you need to grow and be bigger than anything that ever happens to you. So if you're looking for one-on-one or a group coaching program that will allow you to address any situation that comes up in your life with practical tools to give you more peace and joy, then join the Mental Freedom Program in Soulivity's Aspire Academy. There are very limited spots available, so don't delay. I hope to see you there.
Sign up today at soulivity.com/Teresa Mental Freedom Today. Hey, we are back here with more on Soulivity Today, where we are talking with noted relationship expert and author Melva Johnson, along with my radiant co-host Sheila Applegate. We're talking about these common relationship problems that in terms of like communication that happens a lot of times. And we're talking specifically about overcoming the loss of romance and affection and intimacy. I mean, these beautiful things that all of us want to really, 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 really experience. And so, Mom, in the last segment, you set the scene around what's this experience, which is at its bottom line is it's painful. It's painful. But you also say that there's some predictable results that go along with this. What do you mean by that?
Yeah, so it begins with the fact that when people come together and are attracted to each other and they select each other to be in relationship, it's because they see potential of what their lives could be together. What they don't know is that they don't necessarily have the tools to participate in that, to contribute to that, to make that happen. So that's why understanding these stages are so important, because when they miss the opportunity to grow into what it is they dreamed of, what they had a taste of in the beginning, then they wind up with consequences like arguments that lead to emotional disconnection. So people will complain about the sexual disconnection. It's hard to have a sexual connection if emotionally you're not connected, if you're not feeling that that person really loves, cares, and accepts you. So in that moment, when couples are arguing about it, they're not feeling that that other person values them. And so, but one person may want more sexual connection, the other person may want emotional connection. They could have both, but they can't get there. So that emotional connection is really, really crucial for them to get back on track. So the other thing that happens is the consequence, since they don't know what to do differently, because they know what to do, it just doesn't work, then resentment simmers and builds and builds and builds. And that could lead to what I was saying earlier, infidelity. Like one person will say, well, then this person cares about me. This person sees my value. And so they'll have emotional and sexual connection with someone else. Or it will lead to separation or divorce. Right. And you know what I've found that uh, when there is infidelity, often it can be worked through when the man has infidelity, is unfaithful. But if the woman is unfaithful, in many cases, the man is done. It's like, excuse me. Double standards. Just saying.
Just saying. Well,
Right.
and Sheila, I think taking the last point first, men and women, as it stands today, operate differently because we're socialized to be different kind
Mhm.
of in society. I know, and I've read this, when men are in a relationship, their relationship is with that person, that partner. And they're the primary person that they talk to. They don't
Right.
have these multiple kind of things outside of that because men aren't socialized to do that. Women have many, many contacts. They have many, many friends. They talk to many different people. And so it makes sense to me in that standard that men just can't take it. Emotionally, men can't take it. They're not prepared for it. It's like their best friend who they only talk to about is basically gone. And so I understand that part. As well as women can have a lot of times have more emotional intelligence when it comes to this. And it's like, no, we're not done. We're not done. I'm not, this happened because of this or that. And so it makes sense. It makes sense to me. However, and you're going to be talking about this in a minute, there's ways to kind of go through a transformation and use all this stuff to move into number one, gaining knowledge and wisdom, but two, using that knowledge and wisdom in an actual way to create the love relationship that you want.
Yeah.
Sheila, I want to talk to you about this part of when people feel betrayed or they feel that their needs aren't being met and they don't understand why. I know, again, you talk to people about having a conscious life and being self-aware. Part of being self-aware is also understanding that your needs a lot of times have to start from you understanding from what's going on within you, not
Right.
what's out here, right? Can you talk a little
Yeah.
bit about that?
Yeah. That was a really interesting reflection that you had, Brian. I'm going to contemplate
Yeah.
that for a while. I think that to me, what it keeps coming up is vulnerability. And vulnerability is the underlying cause in many ways. It's where intimacy comes from, right? When we have to be vulnerable to feel that intimacy. And as we were talking about, typically women do that through expression of emotions, and men can reach that vulnerability and that intimacy through sex. And it's separated by our society in that way. But I think that when we realize that we're both capable, males and females
Yeah.
are capable of doing both
Yeah.
and reaching intimacy from both paths, then there's a new way of expression. But someone has to take the first step. So if you're the one that's noticing, be vulnerable, whatever that means to you. Start that recognition. And I think Melva, you'll agree, we all love I statements when we talk about what's going on with us and not what the other person is doing. Those are really
Right.
key elements to exploring this, which I'm sure we'll do
I
even more.
love it.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it.
Oh,
I
yeah.
love it. I love it. And so, to your point, Sheila, why don't we turn the page? Because I think a lot of times, when we're having these discussions, we get so enamored into what's going wrong and people understanding what's not right and understanding that part that we don't talk about how we can transform and how we can move into this really beautiful space. And so everyone, listen, we're going to take a break, and we want to let you know that the state that you're in, maybe in your relationship, isn't the end state. There's ways to transform your relationship, and we'll talk about those ways next.
Are you a business owner looking to expand your reach and revenue to a perfect community? Being a Soulivity Today radio sponsor puts your business in front of hundreds of thousands of customers every week, and it's affordable too. For about the cost of a cup of coffee and snack each day, you can reach ideal people looking for your product or service. Soulivity Today is a weekly, hour-long program that dives into the heart of what matters most in our lives, the people, places, and topics that shape our world. It's the perfect place for your business to shine. Go to soulivity.com/Soulivity Today to learn how you can expand your business marketplace by becoming a Soulivity Today radio show sponsor. And for a limited time, special rates are being offered, so don't delay.
Addiction is an epidemic. Millions are struggling and over 100 lives are lost each day. Are you next? At Better Addiction Care, we understand the devastating impact of drug and alcohol addiction. Our network of treatment centers are available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's time to fix the pieces addiction has destroyed. Our network of treatment centers offer detox, therapy, counseling, private luxurious centers, physical fitness, chef-prepared meals, aftercare, and your insurance may cover up to 100% of costs. Only you can put an end to your addiction. It's time to make the life-changing call and get the help you need. Call now, and in just minutes, you could be on your way to a drug and alcohol-free life. The call is free and confidential, and there is no obligation. Visit betteraddictioncare.com or call
855-246-4024. That's 855-246-4024.
Well, hello there. We are back here with more on Soulivity Today, where we're talking with noted relationship author and expert Melva Johnson and author and conscious life coach Sheila Applegate about overcoming common relationship problems shared by couples. And today we're talking about when couples are trying to overcome loss of romance and affection and intimacy, which is so important in our relationships. And so, Mom, I'm going to go to you first. So when couples are going through this loss of romance, affection, and intimacy, you always say that there are some ways to achieve transformation. We started kind of talking about them in the last segment. What are a few of them that you'd like to talk about?
You know, the first thing I think about is going within and having both parties having an opportunity to reflect on what just happened. And when they can peel away the layers to what they were experiencing on the inside and get in touch with what it is that they were wanting and needing. You know, the guy would probably say sex. She would say, I just want to feel heard. Whatever it is, to get in touch with that and come back and have a conversation, a real conversation about what is going on and what it is that both people need in the moment to take the next step forward. There's something, in my mind, there's something sexy about having that conversation, because when you're talking about what each other needs and you're saying, oh, I can do that, and you're moving in that direction, it makes a difference. The other thing is you're not focused on what's going wrong, because you figure that out when you went into your individual space.
Right.
You're focusing on what's possible. You're also focusing on and getting in touch with that potential you saw in the romantic stage. Because remember, we have the dream, but we don't always have the skills to contribute in manifesting the dream together. So this like all of the other problems that couples have, it's really, the mindset I think about, what is the opportunity to grow into a better me? And when you have that focus and you bring that to the table, then you have the conversation and the connection and you become a better we. So if that's part of the focus, then you're moving in the direction of having that mature connection and the fulfillment of that dream, because you had a taste of it. Nature's kind of interesting, gives us a taste, and it's like, okay, but then we know what to work for when we get it clear in our mind.
Yeah.
It's not about finger pointing. It's about,
Right.
what's possible here.
Yeah.
Right.
I love
Right.
that.
I love that. Sheila, I was going to say to you, because again, it always comes back to us, right? It always comes back to us and our growth, and using our growth and bringing that into the relationship. Because I was just making some notes here about, Mom, you're saying go within and reflect. That goes back to, Sheila, what you tell your clients all the time, which is you have to become self-aware, right? And that we are multidimensional. And so there are layers to what we're going through. And so you have to know that. Can you talk about that a little bit, Sheila, from your perspective?
Yeah, as Melva, you were talking, I really kept thinking about, we've said it before in other shows, is you take yourself with you, right? So if you're going into any new relationship, whatever is going on here, you're going to take your part with you. So even if you don't think your partner is showing up and working at things, that you get to make that choice for yourself. And when you go inward and you say, I'm going to figure this out, I'm going to figure out my part, I'm going to change my part, you give the best opportunity for the current relationship to change. And you don't have to worry if the other person doesn't do it, because even if you do move on, now you've attained that skill of understanding yourself, of knowing what you want, of learning how to express yourself and to make these changes. So it turns it back on to yourself, and you get to explore how to be the best partner so that you get to have the best partner for you in whatever way that
Wow.
works.
Wow. Turning the I into we.
Yeah.
I mean, it is so funny because it is not like, okay, I'm going to try to create this perfect we, and then the perfect we will make me feel better. It's like, no, it's the other way around. You got to do the work first, and then bring that best person, that consciousness into the relationship. And Mama, you would always say too, it only takes one of you. It only takes one of you to move. Like Sheila, you just saying that. It only takes one of you. Really quickly, I know we got to go to break, but I want you to talk a little bit about that really quickly.
For me?
Yes.
Or Sheila? Me?
You,
Yeah.
Mom.
Oh, okay. Yes. So, one of the things I think about when people become self-aware and they get triggered, it is an invitation to become reactive. And so the gift in that is you can RSVP and say, I'm not accepting the invitation. What I'm going to do, I'm going to go inside, figure this out, and then I'm going to show up and invite a loving conversation for us to get on the other side. Because when I look at the stages, I look at when there's conflict, it's either you versus me, or you or me. You or me is worse. So you want to get to you and me so we can figure this out together and get clear about what it is that we want so we can move toward our we.
Mm, 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 mm. I keep hearing this I keep hearing that in my head. Don't accept the RSVP. Don't accept it. Don't do it. Don't do it, y'all. Don't do it. Let it just return that to sender in a very gentle way. You don't even need to accept it, and go within and do your work. Because man, that's that. Ooh, yeah, I know that one. I know that one.
Yeah.
Listen, listen, everybody.
One of
We're
the
going to
things,
take a quick. Yeah, go ahead, Mom. Go ahead, real quick.
one of the things when we were working with Arnold Patton years ago. So one of the things he would say is that the person who has the strongest intention prevails. So whoever has the strongest intention, we're going to work this through, or I'm going to be a better person in this situation, prevails.
Wow,
Nice.
highest vibration, highest vibration. Listen, we're gonna take that high vibration right on into our next break, where Melva and Sheila are going to talk about how we can bridge this gap between where you are today and where you want to go in your relationship. So stay right here.
Attention timeshare owners. This is an urgent consumer alert from the Timeshare Exit Hotline, a national company specializing in helping consumers legally get out of their expensive timeshare contracts. We're offering you a way to legally get rid of your timeshare. So if you're fed up with the maintenance fees that keep on coming and want to learn if you can terminate your timeshare legally and permanently, call today. Call the number on your screen today. It's a free call.
Dial 877-798-5991 today. That's 877-798-5991.
If you're living with diabetes and using insulin, you know the pain of pricking your fingers over and over again. By wearing a small device called a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, you can reduce the pain of pricking your fingers right away. If you use insulin daily, you might be eligible to get your own continuous glucose monitor. So call the US Med Diabetic Health Hotline today and learn about the latest CGM technology. Not only can a CGM immediately reduce pain, it's accurate, easy to use, and helps you make better diabetes treatment decisions. And if you have Medicare or private insurance, you can see if you qualify for a CGM at little or no out-of-pocket cost. We'll also provide free shipping of your new CGM, and we'll bill your insurance company for you. If you use insulin daily, you might be eligible to get your own continuous glucose monitor. So call the US Med Diabetic Health Hotline to see if you qualify for a CGM at little to no out-of-pocket cost.
Dial 855-486-4553 today. That's 855-486-4553.
Hey there, we're back with noted relationship author and expert Melva Johnson. We have some great tips for people who can bridge the gap in their relationships when they're doing at times of loss of romance, affection, and intimacy. My lovely co-host is along with me today, Sheila Applegate. Let's talk about this stuff. Let's talk about these great tips because this is like, again, this is the bridge, right? You always talk about this bridge from one place to another. Can you talk about this, Mom, a little bit? These tips?
Yes. So the first one is safety. So it's important to have a safe, sacred space within to go to process what's going on, because in the moment you are very, very vulnerable. And when you go into that safe space and figure out what's going on within and get clear about how you want to reconnect, when you come back together, it's creating a safe space to have the conversation. And so that takes ground rules. It's not going to be any finger pointing. We're going to use, like Sheila was saying earlier, the I statements. We're going to be descriptive in terms of what's going on and the most important part, what it is that we need in the moment. And then after having that conversation, it's about then creating a plan. Okay, so what are we going to do? So we know what we want. So what are we going to do to fulfill that, to get there? So, and people can, because they went into reflection, they have clarity about that, so then they're focusing on what would be delightful for the two of them. And of course, that leads to such good feelings between the two of them that leads to whatever both of them want to have together in terms of that intimate connection.
Mm, 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 I'm feeling the love now. I'm feeling the love.
But here's the other thing. Once
Yeah,
they
go ahead.
once they get there, it's not like a one-time thing. It's like, because it's not a habit yet. And so just know that you have to do it over and over and over again. Because when people say, why do I have to this is sterile, the fact that I have to do these steps over and over again. How did the other way work is the question to ask yourself. And so when you say, if I do this over and over again, it's going to become natural, and it's going to benefit me, and it's going to benefit my partner, it's going to benefit us. So if we can think about the benefits, when we get to the difficult part, because sometimes, on the inside, it's like, I don't want to do all that. And when you think about the results you get, and if that matches the outcomes you want, you might have a second thought about it.
All right. I like it. I like it. Sheila, what about you? Do you have a tip or two that you're thinking about when you hear all of this?
Yeah, as you're talking, Melba, I'm kind of focusing on that sacred space where we go within and creating that sacred space in the relationship. And I feel like, Brian, you alluded to it a little bit, like women tend to go to other women and they talk and they deal with their relationship outside of the actual relationship, talking to other people. And we have to be very aware of the programming of society about what relationships are and who we talk to during this period. And so whether you have friends who can support you in the changes that you want to make, or you're going to a therapist or a coach, or you're just making that commitment to have this dialogue with your partner more often, because when you start to make your partner the go-to person, and this goes for men too, maybe they're turning to colleagues or they do have good friends to talk to, but we don't want to repeat those old paradigm cycles when we're making a new paradigm of a relationship. And so we want to make sure that sacred space is for us individually, for us as a couple, and that if we bring anyone else into that sacred space, that we know that they're in support of where we're trying to go.
Absolutely.
Y'all preach.
When you
Y'all
tell your
preaching today. Go ahead,
family,
Mom.
sometimes when people complain to their family, then the family gets mad, the couple makes up,
Right.
the family's still mad
Right.
at the other person. So it's got to be careful, based on what Sheila was just saying. Got to be really careful.
Right. And so let me just kind of reiterate some of the things that you guys are talking about. First, get self-aware, reflect. Am I doing good, y'all?
Yes, absolutely.
Create a safe space. If as part of that safe space, you want to talk to someone, make sure you discern who you're talking to, and making sure that that person is actually supporting you in moving to where you need to go in your relationship. Then you converse with your partner, or as you're doing that, you converse with your partner, and then you create a plan, and then it's wax, rinse, repeat. You repeat that over and 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 over again.
Yes.
As you both were talking before we go to our last break, I couldn't help but think that the beauty in this process is that there's flowers that you receive all along the way. You're receiving beautiful reminders of what love and joy and peace and harmony exist along the way, and then that is what generates wanting to do it over and over and over and over and over again, right? And building, and my guess is too, building a deeper sense of intimacy, a deeper sense of trust, a deeper sense of faith in your partner and yourself and the relationship as a whole. And so thank you both. Those are great. Ooh, those are great. I had to write those down.
I have one more.
Go for it, Mom. Go for it.
So when it's working, when the other person is stepping up, be sure to let them know that you noticed it and acknowledge
Oh,
it and share some kind of appreciation.
yeah.
Because when people know that they're on the right track and
Yeah.
we all crave some kind of appreciation. When we get it, we'll do it over and over and over again, so yeah.
Yeah. That's so important. Thank you for that. So we're receiving flowers, but we should be giving flowers to our partner too. That's good. Ooh. I love it, love it, love it. Listen, we got to take a quick break, everyone, but we still got more of Soulivity today, including some really special gifts from the heart from both of the ladies here today. So we'll be right back. Soulivity Today is brought to you by Happy Travelers Tours and Old Vine Wine Tours.
Ready to embark on a wine-filled adventure? Go to oldvinewinetours.com and book your luxury wine tour today and experience the unparalleled beauty and flavors of Sonoma, Napa, and Lake counties. oldvinewinetours.com offers transportation for the most amazing experiences in the Sonoma Valley, Santa Rosa, Healdsburg, and all of Sonoma County, as well as the Napa Valley and Clear Lake wineries of Lake County. From boutique tastings to bridal party transportation, we have you covered. Visit oldvinewinetours.com or call 707-386-9859 for more information. Don't forget to mention promo code Soulivity to get 10% off either a culture or wine tour. Book your wine country adventure. Visit oldvinewinetours.com or call 707-386-9859 today.
What if you could make a free phone call and reduce your car payment by as much as $83 a month? Right now, you could be paying as high as 20% interest. Your new interest rate could be reduced to as low as 2.48%. You can refinance any existing car loan or leased car and save money every month. Take 5 minutes of your time right now. Make this free phone call and learn how to save hundreds of dollars a year by refinancing your existing car loan.
Dial 877-511-7277 now. That's 877-511-7277.
Hey, we're back here with more on Soulivity today. Let's get to some gifts from the heart, which is my favorite part of the show. I just love this. I just love this. Mom, you have a very special gift that from the heart for couples to begin their journey. And it's available at your website. It's a free ebook, free resource called The Journey to Lasting Love, which I love the title. Tell us a little bit about this while we have a couple of minutes.
Yeah, so it is a snapshot of the essence of what we talk about during our time together on Soulivity. It gives couples information about what's happening in stage 2, the growth opportunity stage. And so when you can see that the challenges that come up, that they're normal, but they don't have to be the norm, you can see what the other possibilities are. And you get it in a snapshot in that ebook.
Ooh, I love it. I love it. And again, you can find this free resource by going to Johnson Relationship Institute for Couples.com and look for the free resources that are right at the top of the page. And there's some other great things there. There's some other worksheets and that kind of thing that are available there as well. Thanks for that, Mom. And Sheila, you have a wonderful gift too that we'd like to talk about. This beautiful manifestation meditation. Talk a little bit about this.
So this is a guided meditation that will help you to connect deeper with your inner knowing and ground yourself, and then expand your consciousness a little bit as it just guides you in to see a new perspective, so that if you want to use this in a relationship or any other part of your life that you want to enhance, this just gives you a very gentle, easy to receive way of expanding your potential.
Mm, 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 mm. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love these free morsels of wonderness and goodness that all of you bring to the table. You can download that free meditation or go utilize it by going to SheilaApplegate.com today. So don't want to forget about that. So thank you both for this wonderful, wonderful, wonderful conversation and gifts, and just personifying what Soulivity is all about, and being of service to our world. So thank you both. Thank you both.
Thank you, Brian.
Thank you.
Listen, got some other quick things to share before we get out of here. Want to remind you that we are on social media, and where Soulivity is active on all the major platforms. Just do a search for Soulivity and you'll find us everywhere. Also want to remind you that every Soulivity Today show is a podcast, so you can go and download every show and take some much needed inspiration wherever you go in the world. Also want to remind you to go to soulivity.com, where you can read and get more information about your passion, your purpose. Read these great inspirational articles, including a new exclusive interview that I conducted with Ash Tawari, who's a doctor and the chairman of the Milton and Carol Petrie Department of Urology, where I'm talking to him about prostate cancer and how men really need to take heed and get tested and screened, and get out ahead of this. There's so many people that are in the world, especially a lot of African American men that have been diagnosed and too late, where it gets to a stage at which the treatment is very, very difficult. Prostate cancer is 100% treatable when you catch it early. And so go check out that article today. Listen, almost out of time here. Just want to say again, on behalf of all of us here at Soulivity, thanks for being here. This is how we do it. At 8 o'clock every weekday on Soulivity TV, or you can watch or listen to us on select radio stations across the country. So again, on behalf of all of us, this is Brian Westley Johnson saying, keep working that passion and purpose, everyone, because sooner than later, you're going to create a high quality life, something we like to call your best life today. We'll see you next time. Bye for now.
This work is subject to copyright owned by Affinity Global LLC. Any reproduction or republication of all or part of this is expressly prohibited unless Affinity Global LLC has explicitly granted its prior written consent. All other rights reserved.